Hey you guys, this is Skillz with ComaCloud Gaming. It's my first live stream with ComaCloud. I just wanted to give you guys a shout out at the beginning of my video. I am starting Warframe from the beginning and plan to stream every bit of it just to, show you guys from that what you can do as new players if you are new, or if you aren't new and maybe you can learn something anyways. Just waiting on it to load, obviously. Wanted to start the recording a bit early so you guys could see that it is a new account. I always feel like keeping the margins a bit away from the edge of the screen helps make sure nothing, goes on the outside of the screen by mistake.
For generations you've slept. No purpose, no call to wait for you.
I have to say, one thing that I've always loved about this game is these cinematic scenes are amazing. The story seems to have a lot of depth, which you don't often find in a lot of these MMOs, especially a third-person shooter MMO.
The twin queens, the sisters, have sent their most beloved commander, Vor, on an urgent mission. To protect the twisted crusade they have begun. To transform the scattered colonies into an empire. To see that the Tenno, hidden and asleep, will never awaken.
We don't know who they are yet, but we can obviously see there's a little bit of a war going on between at least these guys and the Tenno. Ends up being a lot more to that, obviously. I just don't want to spoil the story early. Must say, looks like all those enemies are pretty ugly. Okay, so we have 3 choices. Let's take a look at our choices real fast before I already know what I'm going to choose, but before you make a selection. We got Excalibur, who can dash and slice things. He has a looks like an area blinds, an area javelin, which feels like it's just an AoE damage. Impaling them to walls, that might be fun. And then Exalted Blade, which I would assume would be an ability that would cost energy over time, because you just summon a sword. Let me see, we have a mag, that pulls enemies towards you, can ensnare nearby enemies and dealing them damage over time, can polarize, deplete enemy shields and armor, shred shields and armor basically, and then can magnetize the bones of nearby enemies, causing them to collapse upon themselves. Okay, looks like a bunch of AoE damage and a little bit of CC, a little bit of crowd control. We have Volt. Movement speed boost. Shields. I believe if you shoot through that shield, you deal extra damage. Maybe with an augment, but if I remember correctly, that's part of Volt's alloy. Paralyze enemies, etc. Okay, I'm gonna go with Excalibur. It's the most basic frame, so I feel like it's the best one to start with for most new players. So that's what I'm gonna start with.
I see the Lotus has tried to wake you. Pity she's too late.
Oh god.
My prize now. Tenno. No. We are
Some kind
taking
of-
this one with us.
Some kind of
What has he done to
crippling
you?
device, I
can't
assume.
use another
It's kind of like a
tunnel.
little shackle or a
I'm
hobble.
searching Warframe's power system.
That's fun.
Quick, use your power. Defend yourself. An extraction ship is on its way, but the Grineer will be hunting you. Arm yourself.
Choose a melee weapon. You have the Skana, which zoom in a little bit so you can see the name. Slice through enemies, Agile Warrior's Blade, okay. Or you have a Mark 1 bow, which shatter armor with heavy blows. I assume it looks like a bow staff. I'm gonna go with the sword, just because that's my preference. If you prefer slower, heavier hits, you can absolutely go with the bow staff.
There's a cache of weapons ahead. Grab what you can.
Oh, did I miss them? Whoopsies. We have semi-automatic, rapid-fire pistol, or stealthy throwing knives. I prefer the pistol personally, so that's what I'm going to run with.
Good. The extraction point is up ahead. Hurry before Vor finds out you've escaped.
Salvage team, why have you not reported in?
Oh. This slide, jump, you jump while sliding for a bullet jump. That's what that is. Bullet jump is the heart and soul of this game's movement system. So the faster you can master the bullet jump, better off you'll be. You can quickly double tap the jump button and it ends up moving you through the map a lot faster. If you look up while you bullet jump, it sends you flying a lot higher than normal, obviously. So you can use that to traverse tile sets a lot faster.
You made it. There's the extraction ship.
Oh, that didn't work out so well, did it? Whoopsies.
You're not ready to face war now. Use your melee weapon to block the beam and get inside.
What do you guys think?
My decrepit heart is pounding. This one is stronger than the rest. Lock the area down. This tender is mine.
Quick, get to the console and release the lockdown. Do that, and I will guide you to your old
Obviously,
ship. It's your
if you
only
can manage it,
chance.
headshots are best. You get bonus damage for headshots.
The queens want to destroy you, but I need to know more.
You can quick fire without aiming like that. Obviously aiming in zooms in better and stuff like that. You can press hold L2 while
Get out of there, Tenno.
while flying with
You
a
will have
weapon
face war
to
another time,
aim glide,
when you're fully restored.
which can be helpful traversing more
Here,
horizontal
my
distance.
sons, prepare the reinforcements. We need that tender.
I do prefer holding R1 to use my abilities rather than just you can also use the touchpad to select different abilities, but I do prefer using R1. It's a lot easier with some of the abilities for Warframes later on.
A tenno flows like fire over the battle terrain. Do you remember how to dash across walls?
Of course I do. Oh, choose a primary weapon. At one time I chose the MK1 Paris because it's silent, but... and that usually is a better way to go for most people.
I'm not sure what Vor has
Because
done to
the
Warframe,
silence,
but we
the
cannot
stealth
remove
at the
it
beginning
now.
of the game
Just
when you
keep going.
can't quite kill
Your
things
ship
as
is up
fast
ahead.
usually helps out quite a bit. Personally, I'm just going to go with the Braden because I'm a little bit more used to the actual gameplay. So the little bit of extra damage helps out a bit. Oh look. Oh. Switch weapons to triangle. You can hold triangle to go to your melee weapon. Which is actually, when you get stance mods, it's the only way you can actually do combos is if you have switched to your melee weapon by holding triangle. So if you're looking at chaining combos or something like that, a little bit more advanced gameplay for the beginning of the game. But if you are looking at chaining combos, then
your ship.
you have to switch directly to the melee.
Must be on their way.
You can't use it with your quick melee that you can use while you have another weapon equipped. It doesn't work that way. Contrary to popular belief, you can still aim glide with an equipped melee weapon. You just have to switch buttons to R2 instead of L2. And then melee aim gliding looks like this.
Security on that panel.
Because L2 becomes your melee channeling ability, which channels energy into extra damage. Oh, look. Those, you just press X. For the Grenier hacking, you just push X when it's on one of the little things that are slid out to make it slide in and hack the console.
Are my sensors deceiving me? Operator, is that you?
Enemy reinforcements are here.
Ordis now, that guy.
Immediate extraction.
Find out some very disturbing things about him through some of the lore.
I will need a few moments to cycle the engines.
He's nice now, obviously, he's on our side, but before he became a machine, he was a very evil person.
I've marked you. You will return to me.
Keep moving. None of the scanners have detected you.
Those blue orbs are energy, which is obviously very useful. So if you plan on using your Warframe abilities, make sure you keep track of your energy. Which is in the bottom right down there, next to where it has my ammo numbers and everything.
The ship is ready. It's time to leave.
Aw. I wanted to kill that one. Oh well. I do absolutely love the cinematic cutscenes in this game. The story actually has quite a bit of depth, a little bit of intrigue, and although it takes sometimes quite a bit to get to, you know, between places in the story, it's still, in my opinion, worth it.
I am Ordis, ship Cephalon, a shadow of my former self. I cannot serve the operator in such a condition. Order me to self-destruct. I will understand.
Take my matchmaking off public for right now.
Technology. It is superior to theirs. Perhaps there are systems left in the orbiter compartment?
Right now you can't do really anything in your ship.
Look at this
Not much
madness.
anyways.
Those savages.
You can do the stuff for this quest, which is restoring the ship comms, which...
Why did the operator abandon me?
Find out where it's at. Oh, I can do it.
Arsenal
Restore ship
management
comms.
could be
There we go.
restored if the operator wishes it.
See?
You honor Ordis.
This is where you edit your
Now I can
loadout.
supply the operator with
When you get
better
mods,
relative
that's where you
firepower.
install them at. Like this is a shield mod.
Annihilation.
I'm actually surprised I got one of those
Those have
already.
been looted as well.
So we're going to... Oh, we can't yet.
We need to figure out
I forgot I mastered rank 0.
has done to you and stop him, but we'll need help.
Leveling up your Warframes and weapons and increasing your mastery rank will give you more default mod capacity with a rank 0 Warframe, like this one is. You quote-unquote level Warframes up by simply going through and killing enemies, which gives you affinity, which goes towards your Warframes and weapons, and ranks them up. And as they rank up, you can also install more mods, which make them stronger. You can find Orokin reactors and use Orokin reactors to further increase your mod capacity, because it actually doubles it. See, when you find aura mods, which go here, may not find those for a while, but when you find those also further increase your capacity. They directly increase it though. They don't count towards the doubling. Okay. Max rank Warframe would have a mod capacity of 30, because the max rank for Warframe is 30. Doubled is 60. These usually give you, I think, like 7 extra mod capacity. But if this was polarized, if it had an affinity like these ones do, and you used an aura mod of the same affinity like that, like if I went, in my mods, over to this affinity, you'll even see it light up green right there, although I can't install it yet. That is how you know that there's a polarized slot that matches this mod's affinity. If you match affinity with aura mod slots, it gives you a total of 14 instead of 7. It doubles the amount you get. So that's very useful as well. Similarly, weapons you can get Orokin catalysts for, which will also double their mod capacity. We'll talk about slot polarization at a different point in time. For right now, although I will touch on a lot of things, I'm going to come back and explain a lot of this later when we can actually do it.
Nearby data vault. Infiltrate the vault and retrieve the segment.
The Ascalus is working, breaking through. I see the shadows of your mind.
Oh god, this is a thing he installed on our leg apparently. That little device down there. He's talking a little bit of crap about it.
This data vault is equipped with a variety of security measures. How you defeat those measures is up to you.
I will be honest, I really strongly dislike the puzzles for Grineer spy missions, which is the type of mission this one is, where you have to get into somewhere that has a bunch of security measures, hack a console, and get the stuff. I absolutely hate these. I hate Grineer ones. I don't mind the lower tier ones because the hacking is super easy, but in general, I really dislike these. Gotta be careful with this, obviously. Oh, that's right. There's almost always a secret side path in spy missions. Like this one takes you to right here. Not that I know where this exactly is going to put me, but it should put me near the console. Yeah, it takes you directly there instead of having to deal with the stuff in between. Sometimes they'll take you directly to the console, sometimes it's a little bit more involved than that, but they always help you bypass a portion of the puzzle that's involved with getting here.
As every moment passes, the Ascalus burrows deeper.
We're just going to go back out the same way. I didn't deal with any of the enemies or anything coming in, so I feel like this may be a lot easier. Oh, somebody saw me. Somebody discovered me. Which means I may have to... things about stuff like the Earth tile set is you'll sometimes end up dealing with creatures as well as enemies. You can actually breed creatures similar to those Kubros by coming to Earth and destroying their nests and sometimes finding an egg, which is fun. I don't personally use Kubros often, but they can be, I've heard, very good in certain circumstances, so. See, my Warframe just ranked up. It's no longer rank 0, it's rank 1 now. See these, it's very important to note that these are damaged. That little word under the name where it says damaged, which means these are actually a lot weaker than the regular version of this mod that you can get from enemy drops or other methods. That basically means that these are the worst possible version of these mods. I feel like it's very important that we understand that.
Welcome back, operator. The operator has recovered a segment. Install it now. Bordis patiently awaits its installation.
Bordis is kind of funny, just because he's glitchy.
Get communications online. I must analyze what Vor's Ascaris is doing to your Warframe.
Here's the market.
This technology is beyond the Grineer.
The main thing that I use this market for, I'll show you. There's a lot of regular Warframes. You can, not prime frames, but regular Warframes you can come and get the blueprint for. Like, here you can buy the blueprint. As long as you collect the other pieces and the materials, then you can build a new Warframe. Similarly with weapons, there are a lot of regular, again not prime, but regular weapons in the game that you can come here and get their blueprint.
We need to make contact with a Corpus defector sympathetic to the Tenno cause. They will, of course, require compensation.
Oh, this one you can just, I think you can just purchase directly for credits. But some of them you have to pay platinum for, like, let me see.
In this case,
this one, you can also choose to spend credits to buy the blueprint and build it yourself.
I've updated navigation. You will need to break him out of a Grineer gulag.
Important to note because it's part of the, a big part of the reason why Warframe is completely farmable and not pay to win is because of the fact you can buy blueprints and build almost everything in the game without ever spending a cent. My previous account, I spent 0 money on platinum. This account, I will probably spend 0 on platinum as well. May end up me microtransacting at some point just to support the developers, but I don't at this time intend to buy platinum ever. I'm trying to show you guys how to do it without doing that, so.
The arms dealer is named Darbo. He's being held in the prison block on the other side of this factory complex.
In here it's probably going to get really, really creepy. This is a rescue type mission, I believe.
How many
because this is Scarce Negator. I know that gets really, really creepy before the end.
Was out for himself, but
I do like collecting a lot of the containers at the beginning when I start, because you need every bit of credits and resources you can find. See, this guy's creepy.
I see the shadows of your mind.
Yeah, Mr. Vor.
Don't let Vor distract you. Focus on the mission. It's our only hope of figuring
this
out
lady.
this link with him.
There's a lot of bad things about Lotus too. Although she's apparently good, there's a lot of really off-putting things about her as well. Or it, rather. Just fight our way through for right now until we actually get to the rescue point. There we may have to be a little bit stealthy. Oh god.
You're on the sensors now. You've been detected. This is the prison block.
You can
If
reset the
avoid
alarms.
detection by the warden, it may be easier to get Dargo out. Bypass the security so we can enter. Alarms have been reset.
How about you guys? But the first place I come is to little tubes like this. That's a Frontier Lancer. Somewhere around here there's Wardens, which are typically more overpowered versions of the enemies in the area. That's a container. I'm not going full stealth or we'd have the bow, but instead of the machine gun.
Cells for Dargo. He has to be here somewhere.
Okay, so number one. We got lucky. There's the guy.
I will get my entourage to meet us in orbit once we're clear of this mess.
I'm gonna try to avoid
Extraction is ready. Remember, your success here depends
the
on
wardens
Dargo
this time.
there, alive.
The Lotus must be desperate to send you fetching greedy fools from the corpus. Give me a sidearm, Tim. I'll cover you. A machine is a hurting.
I literally never give that guy my sidearm, to be honest. You guys can if you prefer. Oh yay, resources.
Now the Ascaris has burrowed deep enough to give me influence.
Uh-oh.
Shall we see how your shields work?
Uh-oh.
The Ascaris is letting Vor control your shield. We must figure out how to remove it. Avoid taking damage while I try and block him.
Ruh-roh. Easiest way to avoid damage, in my opinion, is just rush the end. Again, guys, important to note, these are damaged versions of these mods. These are not the real versions of these mods. These are damaged versions. They are weaker than the regular version. So please bear that in mind when you're deciding to spend credits in Indo leveling them up, you know, ranking them up and trying to use them on your weapons and Warframes. Bear in mind, don't waste too much doing it because they are temporary.
I see the operator can enable the mod segment now. Ordis would be delighted to show you how to upgrade your arsenal. May I recommend fire? Operator, I've linked the mod segment to your arsenal now. No need to thank me. Upgrade your Warframe now. Go to the arsenal to see the weapon upgrade options you have.
Ordis is always hilarious, in my opinion.
An excellent find, operator. There are hundreds of these mods to locate.
Like if you look at these, just as unranked mods, the damage version does 20 unranked, and this one does 40. This one also only has 3 sections in which to upgrade it, whereas this one has, I think, like 10 or 12. So it's much better to put that in a polarized slot, see that you cut its cost in half, like so, and use this one for right now. Although these may be useful later, I'd much prefer to have the real versions, so we're going to avoid using these for as long as possible, to be quite honest.
Thanks for helping me out back there.
I'm going to at least try to avoid leveling things up. I'll install the mods that I have into my weapons, but until I have the real versions, I think I'm just going to stick with some unranked versions of them. This one we can't use at all anyways.
For free, because I like you. And well, a lot of my customers don't live long with these grenade dogs chewing up the system. Here, Use your foundry to build a countermeasure device from this blueprint. Good luck.
Vor's Ascaris is burrowing into your Warframe. I'm worried it will affect your mind. I can't lose you, Tenno. We must restore the ship's foundry immediately.
Have to
A
restore the
nearby
foundry.
Vor extraction colony will have the foundry technology you need. I am certain they will share it with you. Its location has been added to your navigation console.
I'm certain they will share it with you. Nobody likes you.
Tenno, we may have a problem. The colony is unresponsive. Get to the surface.
Nobody likes the Tenno. More on that later. I don't want to spoil the story ahead of time, or I would touch on that a little bit more.
Are here, and I cannot find any signs of living colonies.
So no one likes the Tenno. We
You
will
still have a
explain
job
why
to do.
when that
Find
story
the
becomes
foundry
relevant.
segment. This was once a prosperous, independent colony, until the Grineer arrived.
Mastering the movement system is definitely key to playing this game.
Queens fear you, but I will show them.
I feel like because you traverse
When I deliver you to them.
these levels in such a different manner once you've mastered the movement system, to be honest.
The signal cannot be boosted any further. Hurry, we're running out of time.
Understand that Warframe you can kind of play your own way. So if you don't like my style of going in guns blazing, please feel free to invent your own play style. You know, play how you want to play. The way I'm showing you is definitely going to be effective, but that doesn't mean you have to do it that way.
Good. Your ship is one step closer to completion. Now, there is one more thing you need to do. Eliminate all Grineer and provide justice for the colonists.
Soon the worm will be in your spine, and I will control this warframe of yours. I will purge your doting mother and bring you home.
If you can be more precise than me when playing, that would be great, actually. Before I restarted Warframe, I mained a shotgun, which you don't have to aim as much, kind of just point and shoot. So forgive me if my aiming isn't quite as accurate as some of you are used to. Those markers is turned from what it was into an exterminate type mission, which means obviously just exterminate all the enemies. I try to get the ones when they run into consoles like that, because that means they're about to trip an alarm. And at this level, the amount of enemies that spawn off alarms is really tough to deal with. Actually, I need to go ahead and adjust my sensitivity a bit. My cursor's moving. I already need to do this. Controls. There it is. Aim sensitivity. We're going to go up a lot on that. That's better. Still need to adjust that again, but we'll do that in a minute. For right now, we'll just play like that. Yeah, look sensitivity is a bit much. My bad. Obviously, when your shields go down, don't just stand there. One of the most important elements of play in Warframe is knowing when to run around and run away. Sounds really cheesy. People are gonna be like, but that's cowardly. Whatever you want to say, it's fine. We prefer not to play Warframe while dying. But if you can avoid dying, then see resurrecting yourself cost affinity. I guess I can show you that technically. Oh, wait a minute before I do that though. I'm gonna go ahead and adjust my sensitivity a little bit more. I don't like this new cursor system, to be honest, although I know they did that so they can get updates out faster. Because of the fact that it makes it a little bit more difficult to use the sliding bars, to be honest. Okay. There's a trophy you can earn somewhere that I was trying to earn just now. My weapon's maybe a little bit too weak for it currently.
Alarms successfully hacked. The location is returning to normal security levels.
Okay, good. There we go. 10 of all trades. So when you kill somebody within I think like 5 or 10 seconds, you have to kill them with your melee, your main weapon, and your secondary weapon. And ta-da, there's extraction.
Another job well executed.
More damaged versions of mods, it looks like. Oh, we got a regular version of Fury, which is plus attack speed for melee weapons, which is cool. Damage version. That's crazy, I didn't even know damage versions of continuity dropped. Because that was an actual enemy drop this time instead of being a mission reward. I didn't even know those dropped, to be honest. Now we're going to install one of the most important things you'll ever use. The Foundry. It's where you build all of your weapons, your warframes, quest items, literally everything in this game is built here.
Weapons and tools to exact revenge for dismantling me. To expand your arsenal. Oh no. Operator, our component storage has been looted as well. Typical Corpus. Sure, the blueprint is free, but jack up the components. Operator, we will need resources in order to build the countermeasure blueprint.
Oh, I do fall silent to let you guys kind of hear the cutscenes a bit more than my voice sometimes.
General, I just received a very
Especially since we don't have any choice except for to wait for these cutscenes to be over. Because the only thing we can do right now is the quests. Until we're done with those, we're not allowed to do anything else.
My mother is no gymnast. She would never eat those things.
You can go straight to Operator. I am sorry.
Wow. You may want to get a new ship Cephalon when you can afford. That one seems glitched.
It's a little bit of foreshadowing there about your Cephalon seeming glitched.
If you can stand the cold.
It's really because, and this is a piece of lore outside of the story, so I don't mind telling you guys. It's really because Ortis was a person that was made into a Cephalon via Orican technology. Details on exactly how are a bit hairy, but Basically, he was massacring the Tenno. You can't see our Tenno yet, but they're these little kids that control these Warframes. He was trying to massacre them, and so in retribution, the Orkin turned him into a program. And that's why he's a little bit buggy. It's because he wasn't always a program. One time he was a person, and so that leaks out. And keep in mind, guys, if you guys have questions, comments, things you need me to touch on a little bit more, just leave in the comments, let me know. I'll be more than happy to answer you guys' questions or, stuff like that.
This outpost belongs to the Corpus, a secretive but extremely powerful merchant cult known to be working with the Grineer. Darvo will fill you in.
Legions of robots, mindless automatons, freaking lasers. These guys are bad news, but they're also low, which is why you're here.
Something important to note, let me go ahead and drop my other volumes just for a minute. You hear that noise? That was right there, that was in the background by itself. That's the noise these make. So when you do other missions later in which you're looking for caches, that hum is what you're going to end up listening for most of the time. It's the easiest way to locate them, because when you get close enough, and if you mute the other volumes, it's easier to isolate that hum, so you'll be able to hear these from further away. It's actually, when I am looking for caches, it's the method that I usually use. I take my other volumes and turn them down really, really low, and take my sound effects volume and turn it all the way up so that I can hear that hum. It helps you find them a lot faster.
There is more here.
Technically, this is stealing, but don't let that bother you. The Corpus aren't exactly beacons of moral fortitude either. They sell anything to anyone. Don't get me wrong, I like profits, a lot. But I don't sell my wares to the damned Grineer. That's unforgivable.
So everybody kind of hates the Grineer, which are those very first enemies that we saw, the ugly guys. That's them. When you can stealth attack things, it's better. Gives you more affinity, kills them faster, that kind of stuff. I always blow these up personally, because otherwise they create those little laser barriers.
You're on the sensors now. You've been detected.
For some reason I found that some people aren't good at the Corpus hacking. I've always been better at Corpus hacking and Corpus puzzles than I have been at Grineer. Don't know why, but apparently that is the opposite of most people. Oh, radio blinds unlocked. And then we can just walk up to these guys and finisher attack them. That's what the radio blind ability ends up doing for you. It's a very, very nice ability, to be honest. Which one's closer? This is 53 meters away. That's a hop, skip, and a jump. Nobody's perfect when going through missions. Everybody makes mistakes. You will miss jumps sometimes. You will mess up on the movement system on occasion.
But you're not done yet.
That is one of the main reasons that I'm live streaming this instead of pre-recording it and editing over my mistakes, because I want you guys to see possible pitfalls, the fact that even I do mess up on the movement system on occasion. Oh, I'll pause the cutscene, my bad.
For my queens. But soon, the Ascaris will complete its task and bring you to me.
Cold procs actually slow you in this game, which I think is cool. I hate cold procs, but I think the fact that they actually slow you down is a little bit more realistic, a little bit more realism in this sci-fi game. There is an achievement you can earn for destroying their helmets before them, which we'll hunt for later. Oh, in this case, I like to blow up these shield generating ospreys first. Ah, Jesus, I'm terrible right now. When all else fails, guys, use your melee weapon. As you can see, these weapons that you get other than that at the beginning of the game are extremely underpowered. So you can use your Warframe abilities, your melee weapon. They're, because of the damage type on your melee weapon, it's a lot more effective at the beginning of the game, to be honest. Oh, what's up, guys? There's a telltale hum again. As you can see, these are usually next to some other lockers. They're white instead of green or red. This is what caches look like.
The Ascaris has reached your mind.
Enter 4, stage left.
Your lotus mute. You will return to me over your own free will.
This guy's kind of a jerk. Obviously. He wants the Warframes for himself. And he wants your Tenno to operate the Warframes for him, basically. Because he wants to use them for his own army. Just in case you guys missed that bit of the story, I wanted to go ahead and give that to you right fast. But bro, I'll let him set off an alarm. These ones, obviously, you just connect the lines to the center. Once you connect them all, you complete the puzzle.
Successfully hacked. The location is returning to normal security levels.
Oh, this sliding and then pressing your melee, your quick melee while you slide will create that spin attack. Got another Corpus helmet. And obviously extraction's just right here, so it's hop, skip, and a jump. Again, guys, damage versions of mods, don't be fooled. Okay.
Operator, are you alright?
Once you build an Ascaris Negator,
This part of your journey is over, Tenno.
you technically get some extra stuff. So I'm gonna come see if I can maybe find a weapon blueprint or weapon to purchase. Maybe something a little bit better than this Mark 1 Braden really fast.
Lotus, do something. Help the operator.
This is where you can find all the stuff you can buy for real money or premium currency.
Millions strong, but with a flaw.
Obviously, a lot of things are going to be mastery locked.
Diseased,
I can't build them until I get a higher mastery rank.
sterile.
For right now, we're going to come to primary weapons, to be honest. See if I can find something better than MK1 Braden. And you can always click on it.
Do not abandon me again. Build the countermeasure.
Hurry up, Borders. You look over here, it'll give you its damage types and its base damage numbers, along with its percentage of applying like the actual status off of that damage type to an enemy, and its percentage to perform a critical hit, which obviously does bonus damage. Lots of stuff on crits. We'll get to that when we actually find a crit weapon. Its fire rate, its accuracy, it's the amount of noise that it makes. It's all right there. Its trigger type, all of that was right there. This one's actually not much better than the MK1. If you look at it, has a little bit higher status and critical chance, lower accuracy actually. What's its fire rate? Fire rate's a little bit higher, but these numbers are still between 7.9 and 8.2 compared to the MK1. This one still hits 9.0 on the slash, which is the highest damage number, so it's generally referred to as a slash weapon. You can, using mods, make it into a different type of weapon, but technically speaking, the regular Braden has a lower slash number, so we're not going to utilize that weapon. Lots of things you can't use, like I said, as our mastery locks, and our mastery rank is still 0. So let's take a look here. What's the Latrin? .38.5 puncture. This is much, much better. But we don't have the stuff to build it right now, so we're going to ignore that. Mark 1 Strun, you can buy straight for credits, which is probably what I'll do. If you look at it, its damage numbers are a lot higher. But you also see this new stat called Fall Off, which typically means because the fall off numbers are low, that means that the damage falls off between 15 and 25 meters. It means this is a shotgun, which it also actually will say up here in the description. But the fall off tells us this is a shotgun. It's much higher status chance, a little bit better crit chance, much better damage numbers. So because I am a shotgun main, I'm going to get the Mark 1 Strun for right now. Because like I said, that's just what I prefer. If you prefer a different type of weapon, absolutely go for it. We're just going to equip the MK1 Strun now. Wants me to build an Ascaris Negator, correct? Yeah, it does.
I did this for my love.
This is literally one of the only things in the game that has a build time of less than 12 hours.
When I deliver you to them, our love will be reborn as we feed on your divine blood. Our children will flourish without disease.
You can tell that the Grineer have been kind of tricked.
You die at last.
Because they're kind of a deformed species.
Father.
They've been tricked into thinking that drinking your blood is gonna
What do you think you're doing?
cure them of their defects. Claim that. Earned a trophy for crafting something in the foundry. It's not that big of a deal.
What a waste.
Got rid of his little ankle bracelet here. It's definitely a plus. He can't really mess with our heads anymore, so that's awesome.
Good. You managed to disarm Vor's Ascaris. I thought I lost you.
Lotus pretends to care, but I don't really like Lotus.
Oh no. The Ascaris had a tampering failsafe. It's burrowed into you and armed itself. We'll need to find Vor before it detonates. Get to navigation. Boarding a Grineer ship to access the personnel records will be the fastest way to find Vor.
Alright.
What are you waiting for?
Wants us to find Vor. Well, go ahead and make this our last mission for this broadcast.
Finding Vor implies violence?
So after this one, we'll go ahead and call it a day for right now. I may be on and stream a little bit more later tonight or tomorrow.
May I suggest you access navigation and save your life for
But
my sake?
after this mission, we're going to call it for this broadcast, guys.
The systems on this Grenier Galleon can be made compatible with your ship. Find and extract a navigation segment.
Obviously, again, collecting the credits and the other stuff from containers. See, guys, it's much more effective.
You have murdered my sons and disgraced me before my queens. But soon,
You have to get a lot closer to use it, but it's much more effective.
Task and bring you to me.
Okay, Vor. We get it, you're a jerk. Thanks. Secret paths all over the place in these tile sets. Some just lead to stuff like this, which has, you know, some extra resources and stuff inside. Sometimes they lead, like I said, past obstacles or things like that. Either way, they're almost always worth at least just looking into, especially when you're starting for the extra resources. Now I've actually started to one-shot our enemies, so that's a good thing, right?
You've been seen.
This does not seem like it's a clip-fed shotgun. It seems like it's a directly loaded shotgun, hence it's reloading multiple bullets. It's actually surprising how much time Digital Extremes, going to give them a shout out real fast. It's amazing how much time they spend just creating the sound for weapons to make them as close to an actual shotgun or sniper rifle or stuff like that as they can. I love the fact that they approach simple details like that with such care. Whoopsies. Obviously, in the beginning, killing extra enemies, as long as it doesn't kill you to do it, is definitely the way to go. Like I said, shotguns are my preference because you mostly just kind of point and shoot. A little bit less aim intensive, which is helpful, I feel like, especially for new players. A weapon that's a little bit easier to use and you're not used to first-person shooters or things like that.
We have what we wait.
Then I feel like the shotgun is definitely a good way for you to go. Now, if you are used to assault rifles or sniper rifles, they have both.
You can extract now, or you can disable this galleon and save the colonists. Saving the colonists.
The optional reward.
I recommend you head straight to extraction.
I bet you do, Lotus. Nobody likes you. I'm gonna go ahead and save the colonists. Most of the time, if it offers you an additional objective, it'll also give you additional rewards as well.
Your shield capacity has just been halved.
See, and
You're wasting precious time, Teta.
I'm gonna go ahead and save the colonists because I don't know. I guess I'm cool like that.
You've reached the ship's power systems. Destroy the reactor. Destroy the fuel injectors. That should take the pressure off the colonist ship, but you need to get out of there. Get to extraction before the reactor goes critical. Doors are locked. Time to break in.
While reloading, you can bullet jump, but if you bullet double jump, or if you roll, it will cancel your reload. better explain why I'm utilizing different parts of the movement system. That might help. Or if you're in hallways like this with lower ceilings, it's usually better not to do the double jump. I didn't realize I needed a hacker terminal. Basically, triggering the alarm twice, going to 2 different areas and having an enemy from that area trigger the alarm will lock the doors on you. So you'll have to hack it before you can proceed at that point.
The colonist ship has been lost. I know it was a difficult choice, but many more in the future depend on your survival today.
Alright, so we made it through most of the intro today, guys. We will pick up where we left off next time, obviously.
Proceed to the navigation console.
This is where we actually get a little bit more freedom, because having navigation segment actually allows you to select different missions from different places instead of being just limited to the story. So, anyways, guys, it's been fun. Catch me next time. Again, this is Skillz with ComaCloud. It was great streaming for you guys, and we look forward to seeing you next time. And again, if you don't mind, if you're taking the time, if you like the content, please subscribe and share. If you have comments, suggestions, questions, please post them in the comment section below. And thanks.